2022 is our year. Of course, I'm a long-term holder. I believe really in the value of holding and selling to a producer, which is our exit strategy. So for me, that's what I'm waiting for.
Joining us for a conversation is Judson Coulter, the CEO of Rover Metals. Mr. Coulter, welcome to the show, sir.
Hey, thanks, Maurice. How you doing today?
I'm doing excellent, sir. It's a great time to be speaking with you as Rover Metals has just released some exciting exploration news coming from the Cabin Gold Project in the Northwest Territories of Canada. Before we begin, Mr. Coulter, please introduce us to Rover Metals and the unique opportunity the company presents to shareholders.
Yeah, we're a gold exploration company, still at the resource definition sort of phase of our company. We do have a proven team of producers as well, but right now the focus is developing a mine life out of one of our several gold assets, and we're currently focused on developing our projects in the Northwest Territories of Canada. So that's, if you're looking on a map, the 60th parallel, so up north.
Let's get right to it. Mr. Coulter, take us to the Northwest Territories and onto the flagship Cabin Gold Project and reacquaint us with the Cabin Gold Project.
Yeah, the Cabin Gold Project is, in an area where there's an endowment of gold. Currently, they're within 120 square kilometers. There's 7.2 million ounces of gold sitting in our competitors as a bankable gold resource. So we're in a great jurisdiction. Our project itself, we bought this asset, the Cabin Gold Project. It had a historical resource of 85,000 ounces, and that was spread across several very prospective targets on the property. The property itself is about 1,000 hectares in size. So, there was a lot, when we got started, there was a lot of prospectivity in terms of these targets being open to depth, open along strike, at surface, so cheap to explore and understand. So, that's where the project started, 3 years ago. And, we're really excited about having spent about $3 million in exploration dollars now on the project and announcing, again, today, the big news is delineation and really discovery of a second, what we believe, ore shoot. And now we've got two of them. And, that was really the goal for this year. And I think the market will see a third here in the coming weeks as well as we head into, a resource definition drilling in Q1 of next year.
Well, speaking of one of those zones, you're speaking of the Beaver Zone, as Rover Metals just announced infill and delineation as the company reported multiple near-surface intercepts of economic gold grades. From a macro perspective, what were the results from the second phase of the exploration able to determine?
Well, the really exciting thing here is that it's just 400 meters along strike from, that bonanza zone discovery that we made in 2020. So there's a lot of smoke. I don't like to use that term. It sounds promotional, but the fact is these are underground mines. So if we're having this kind of success, just 400 meters away from, where we had success in 2020, it really opens up the entire project. Of course, that what we're trying to do is get to that 1 million ounce, mine life of 10 years on the project. And, we're on track. I mean, I guess that's the macro level is we are on track. We have for February, we have, two, arguably let's call the Beaver Zone discovery an ore shoot. The Arrow Zone is definitely an ore shoot, open at depth. So drilling below 75 meters at true depth at both these locations really puts us on track for our goal of bringing a resource to market in the first half of next year. And let's not discount, the Andrew Zone, which is, we actually sent some more samples in. So I think, with a fair amount of confidence, I think we could say we've actually got two new zone delineations, not just the Beaver, but the Andrew, which we'll be press releasing in the coming weeks. We've just got some, initial results from that still, but, that was a historical target as well. So Having three, really good economic areas on the property is exciting. And people like Resource World called us this morning and they're like, well, just how big is this thing? And I guess that's what we're looking to find out.
All right. Well, sir, please walk us through the tables on the drill results.
You betcha. Yeah. So I'm just going to, I just get people to go to the website for all the small incremental intervals, but I'm going to talk in terms of the longer intercepts. And so just to rattle some off here, I got to look at my list. We had 6.5 meters of 5 grams per ton, 6 meters of 2 grams per ton, 6 meters of 3.4 grams per ton, and 5 meters of 3 grams per ton. And in that, there was some super high grade intervals of, let's just say, 2.6 meters of 8 grams per ton. So as we understand this, the higher grade part of this was closer down to that Bonanza Arrow zone. And we think that extends southeast from Beaver down into Arrow, which would explain that because that's where the higher grade is. And so, now that Cabin Lake area is actually frozen, we have boots on the ground for the last week, dragging the IP lines out over Cabin Lake, and that's going to open up hopefully a very positive news release here for the IP results, as well as delineating the phase 3 February drilling in terms of targets for both Arrow and Beaver. So, and of course, about the screamer results we had at the Arrow zone. Just to recite one, like 32 meters of, 14 grams per ton, but it doesn't stop there. There was 22 meters of 8 grams per ton, 22 meters of 6, 16 meters of 12 grams per ton. So, this is 400 meters away from Beaver, right? So to say that the February drilling is going to be exciting is like a massive understatement, right?
Well, speaking of the February drilling, you've already got 3D modeling preparing you. What are you able to provide us in reference to insights on phase 3?
Yeah, it's going to be right out over the lake, following down dip. We have enough confidence at the Arrow zone to have modeled it. And what we're trying to do is being able to model just how far up the lake it goes. And that will, like right now, for example, the next step out hole for where we know that it dips down is probably at 75 meters of true depth. But as it continues to dip and the angle it continues to dip, that's what the IP does out over the lake. And this is why historically it was never drilled, is the timeliness of needing to get the ice thick enough to get a drill out over there. They didn't do that historically. Plus, the IP back in the 80s is not what it is today. So the confidence level of these targets is pretty high, which is really exciting.
Switching gears, let's look at some numbers. Mr. Coulter, please provide us with the capital structure for Rover Metals.
Yeah, we have 117 million shares outstanding, and that reflects 100% ownership of 4 gold projects. And obviously, we've been talking about Cabin Gold, but if you were to go 10 kilometers northwest, along sort of this iron formation trend in the regional area, we have our next project just 10 kilometers away. And we could talk a little bit about that, I think, in coming weeks, because we did send some samples in from Sleeman Gold, which is, again, one of the 4 that we own. But again, just to the point of the cap structure, 117 million, but that's 100% of ownership in terms of all the deals we've done in the last 3 years to acquire these projects.
In closing, what would you like to say to shareholders?
I think this is a great time to be, getting a position if you don't already have one, or if you have one, adding to it. Sprott just reported yesterday that the pressure on gold price is coming off. I think there was a lot of forecasts with what's going on in the world. Gold should have been at $2,000 an ounce. I'll just let readers and listeners of this interview go and read the Sprott article, but there really shouldn't be any roadblocks to gold price for 2022. So that's a fundamental for our business. But also just the fact that, we've got, such great targets. Like our 2020 is probably the best year for our company, subject to, of course, financing, which we are going to be doing in February. But that being said, I think the confidence level, we've got $3 million worth of data bringing us to this point in terms of the exploration work we've done. So what we're going to be bringing, in February in terms of the short term, unfortunately, the market is very short term with day trading, but, here's a chance. If you are a short term person, I think, 2022 is our year. Of course, I'm a long-term holder. I believe really in the value of holding and selling to a producer, which is our exit strategy. So for me, that's what I'm waiting for. But I think anybody getting involved, they can have some fun on the ride in 2022.
Well, I'm with you every step of the way. As you know, I'm a long-term shareholder, and I believe the value proposition is very compelling, and I'm looking to add to my position. Mr. Coulter, for someone listening that wants to get more information on Rover Metals, please share the website address.
Yeah, it's www.rovermetals.com.
Mr. Coulter, it's always a pleasure to speak with you. Wishing you and Rover Metals the absolute best, sir.
Thank you, Maurice.
The information presented on Proven and Probable is provided for educational and informational purposes only, without any express or implied warranty of any kind, including warranties of accuracy, completeness, or fitness for any particular purpose. The information is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, or trading advice, or any other advice. You should not make any financial, investment, or trading decision based on any of the information presented without first undertaking independent due diligence and consultation with a professional broker or competent financial advisor.